Welcome back. Welcome back. This is A Mountain Echo. What's up, Las Cruces, Southern New Mexico? Hashtag Dirty South, baby. Everyone, wherever you might be tuning in, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. It is November 17th, week of November 17th, whatever day you may be watching. We are really excited to bring this episode to you really quick. Before we get started here, get on the comment section right now. We want to know exactly what you're coming in here for. If you're tuning in for high school sports, for LCPS, Las Cruces, Centennial, Oregon Mountain, Mayfield, whatever it might be, put in high school. If you're one of those people who just skip through and watch the NMSU coverage, put NMSU on there. And if you're doing both and you're staying the whole time, put both. Do that right now. Now, I want to read something because I want to make sure that I'm very, very clear here. So give me 1 second while I read this. I appreciate you, and I know that my boy Jonah does too. This is the first time I feel like this is necessary as we move forward and we continue to establish our identity. The things said on our show is opinion. They are educated assessments on the climate of a team, player, and or coaches. As far as we have observed and have seen their performances. Everything we're about to say is out of respect for the time, effort, sweat, and blood that is invested into the sports that we love. Our goal is to bring an authentic, unfiltered, and dynamic spotlight to the Dirty South. Is that good enough there, Jonah? Is that clear?
I think you hit it right on the head right there. So let's move on forward.
Let's keep going. Just so that's it. All right? We're good.
Yes, sir.
Comprendo, comprendo. Let's go. Nobody pays our bills. Let's get it. All right. Let's get started here with high school. High school sports. There was a lot going on, so we're just gonna keep pushing here. And I'm gonna give you the first topic here, Jonah. I'm gonna need your help here just to get us started. And it's gonna be Las Cruces high school football. The Bulldogs pulled it off. It wasn't pretty, it wasn't perfect, but they're advancing. I think that was perfect. Let's get it going here, Jonah. What did you see at the game? You were there. We were. You were there, right? At the game,
Yes,
or
sir.
were perfect. I was on vacation. I wasn't in town, so I'm gonna lean on Jonah. I did watch the games. We were posting back and forth. There was just a lot going on, um, but an impressive resilience is the word that I think about. Jonah, what do you think about that game?
Yeah, well, you said it best when we were texting, or I think we might have called one another. Just good teams know how to win in those ugly moments,
Yep.
and I thought they did that really well. They had a lot of adversity. Las Lunas obviously watched their film. They might have listened to a couple things that we said, to be honest, specifically with kind of pressing, not giving the receivers room off the line. I saw that right away, and you could tell that it bothered some of the receivers, including their star receivers. I'm not gonna go and name all of them again because we said that last time, but um, I thought it was a good win. I thought they needed a kind of another close win to kind of prepare them going forward. And obviously, if they play like that against the Cueva, it's not going to go. It's not going to go well for the Dirty South. Um, but the plus is there's film, and we've heard from your sources that they spent a lot of time watching that film, specifically the first half, and they're going to make the corrections they need. And I think it's going to be a different Cruces team next week or this Friday night at Wilson Stadium. So, yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I that's a perfect summary. I think there was Cruces high in general. I think the one thing that has been their Achilles heels the entire time has been the first quarter specifically. I don't think they ever get started very quickly. Um, And I don't think it's a strategy, it's just the way that they kind of get off the ball, how they kind of come off the out of the locker room maybe. But I mean it was a 7-0 start. Again, we saw that with Centennial, we saw that with Cleveland, we saw that with a lot of teams where they don't necessarily come out flat, but there's teams are scoring on them and they're scoring on them early and then they make adjustments, which is a huge shout out to coaching staff, everybody to get kind of they get punched in the face and they're able to respond from that, and that's a good trait to have from a championship team. But as you mentioned, it's hard to pinpoint one receiver. It's hard to pinpoint one specific player that stood out. I loved Francisco Winikoff, my tocayo. Let's go, baby,
The
Francisco's.
Kyle baby.
Yes, sir. Early on, I love seeing the motion from the right side. Winikoff is on the left. They moved that over, and the safety kind of crept up because they thought it was going to be a run. And Winikoff almost had one. I don't think he was touched. Right? Was it the first or second touchdown where
Yeah, give me a second.
he just took it off to the right side of the field, and that was it. And it felt like they were going to dominate the game from that point on. Right? So special teams came up huge. Defense did great. We posted the in the second half. Isaac Gomez recovering the kickoff return. What a kick! What a freaking kick that was! What happens in that situation? Did you ever play special teams? Did you ever play as like a kick returner? Like I don't blame anyone for letting that ball if it flies over your head and you're like at the 15-yard line, that ball 99% of the time is going to go to the back of the end zone, right? And it just
Yep.
sits there, and that just shifted everything. And so that was cool to see. I was locked into that game. I was watching it from Colorado, and it was exciting to see. And Cruz has figured it out. It's not a mystery that they struggled. It's not you don't need to have a PhD in football to know that Cruces could have played better. But the fact of the matter is that they figured it out, and that's what the good teams do.
Yeah, and to answer your question, I did play special teams at Centennial. I was kick returner that junior year, and it's hard, dude. It's not easy when people are running full speed at you, and it's a scary position. So yeah, I don't blame that kid. That was just like that bounce. I don't know if the kicker meant to maybe like put a little, I don't know, backspin. I don't know. I don't even know what the term is for that type of kick, but that changed the game. Also, the right after the pick six by Parameter, I believe, number 13 for Cruces, we kind of felt like maybe they would open up the game. Maybe it would be a little more spread out, but then, like we said, Las Tunas, they had I guess, some dog in them to compete with the number one team in the state. So, like you said, shout out to them for watching their film and just kind of being the coaches making those adjustments. And even after the first half, it still felt like, well, maybe it could be another heartbreak for Cruces. Like they could have a big catch or whatever it was, but Cruces kept their heads and be proud of. I hope those kids are proud of getting past that round and now getting down to business with the semifinals and with the trip to state championship on the line.
Yeah, I mean, respect to both teams because I mean that was a great fought game. I don't think the score reflected how close it was. You're
Yeah,
sweating that out till the third quarter, and it just felt like at any point there could be a comeback. At any point there could be a turnover. And you're right, there was a pick six there where it was like perfect read. He's a linebacker, right? Yeah,
I
and
believe
he
so. Yeah, he kind of
yeah
just dropped back to the flats.
yeah he dropped back, and I think it was a slant. It was actually what I love about the LCPS.TV streaming is that it's super easy because it's just on YouTube. You could go back. I was trying to figure out what they were trying to do on offense, and it was actually the outside wide receiver that cut in and did a slant. and it was just read perfectly, right spot to be at, and he took it to the house. So that was sweet. So congratulations to Cruces. They advance. And like you mentioned, um, I spent some time. I'm not going to say names, but I got some intel that there was some time spent on the very next day, just saying, "Hey, we won, but this is not acceptable." And I think that that shows a lot about Coach Lopez as a leader, as a coach, not only for the players and what he expects from the players, but what he expects from all of his coaching staff. That we if wherever they go, the players are gonna follow, right? And so I'm excited to see how they respond and how they take care of business this next round, against a team that is already they already have eyes on us. They've already been responding a little bit to what we've been
Oh
posting.
Lord, don't even start that. No,
Shout
don't
out to
even.
them.
Hey, thanks for the views, my dudes. I'll just say that right now.
No, I mean, and we can actually move on a little bit here. Shout out to Cruces, but I do think that we need to go to our next topic here on Centennial's loss, because I think both of us thought Centennial was going to win, and it looked like Centennial was going to win. And I know you got a lot to say about it, so I'm gonna shut my mouth for a little bit here, and I'm gonna let you speak. Let's get it. What you got?
Oh, okay. Okay, here we go. Ooh, I'm a little nervous speaking right now. I'm gonna
Oh
tell you that
boy.
right now.
Remember what I said. I read it. I read it to y'all. Let's go. Come on. Give it to me,
Yes,
Jonah.
sir. Uh, coaches, head coach lost this game for the Centennial kids, and it's no disrespect to Coach Ocampo. He is a very smart football coach. He's very good mentor. He builds boys into men. He does everything right in that aspect. But to kick three field goals, it was rough, and it was not on the kicker. Um, I don't know his name. I don't want to kind of shout out his name because he's probably having a hard time right now with that loss. But um, they missed three field goals. The first two were, I think the first one was blocked, and the second one might have been close. But on their field goal, the guy in the very end, I forget what they call that position. He's meant to go and block the kick, right? He's the fastest kid. They put the fastest kid to get to the ball, and he was just getting a big jump off that snap. And the guy in the very end, whose job is to step out and just kind of give him a jab to kind of get him off tempo, off speed, he wasn't getting there. And so the kicker had no shot even before the kick was off for all three of those kicks. And the last kick that he did do to the go up three, he actually false started because he was looking at that kid getting ready to jump off the line. He kind of moved too quick. So I was really surprised they didn't call that because it would have been a re kick or like a 5 yard, penalty false start. But they missed that. He ended up going wide right. But to put on that kid, it's not his fault at all. All three of those kicks, it was about either 4th and 7, maybe 4th and 4, and maybe a 4th and 12 or 10. But we got to know, like, these kids are NFL athletes. These
Right.
the coaches should have been a little more like, let's on third down, second down, cut it in half, make it a more, if you want to be more like NFL coach, do what these other coaches do in the NFL, where they simplify it by cutting the third down and 6, make it 4th and 3 next time, so we have an easier chance of getting the first down. And they could have got that first down, and it was never 4th and goal or anything like that. And so I just wish they would have handled that better. And I text you right away, right after the first kick. I was like, he's gonna kick this to win the game, and it's not gonna go well. And I wish those words were wrong when I text that, but I was like, no. And just to tell everyone a little background about myself, I'm from Centennial. I graduated from Centennial. I played for Centennial. I was rooting for Centennial. I sat on LaCueva's side to hopefully give him a little bit of bad juju, to be honest, because I'm a little stitious. So I was like, maybe this time, and it worked the first half. But um, those kids fought their butts off, and it's none of those kids' fault. It was just sometimes and Coach Ocampo would be the first to say this. Sometimes he's a human being. He makes bad decisions, and I remember back when I played for him, we were watching film, and he would let us know like, hey, that's on me. That call was on me. Like it's I'll do better next time. And so he's accountable, and I have very high respect for him. But they were moving the ball. They were missing their star running back Dalen Ramirez again, and then their other backup, which was Sanchez, I believe. So they're playing with like a back by committee with Via, I think Bermuda number three, and their sophomore Aldape, I believe. And then they had some other guys just rotate in, and it was really the Reese Labyrinth show. He did it all. He did all he could. He had a 70-yard run, a couple big breaks, and he was doing pulling the ball. Just kind of let me do this on my own. Let me put the team on my back right now. And so, Coach Ocampo did a really good job with motions, flies, just kind of keeping the defense on their toes, and they just couldn't get that read with a Labyrinth. He would just kind of either hand it off, but most of the time he kept the ball, and he would find the outside the edge and just kind of get a stack of yards. I'm pretty sure he averaged maybe 5 or 6 yards a carry, and so that brings me back to why didn't we just run that instead of kicking a field goal and maybe picking up the first down, and maybe even Reese breaking a couple tackles because he's a big kid and he probably scores. But they did really well, and I don't think La Cueva did anything special to win that game. Centennial shot itself in the foot by those three field goal tries, and even threw a pick in the first quarter, I believe, and they fumbled for like a scoop and score in the second half. Um, so it was really Centennial just kind of shooting themselves in the foot to lose that game. But hats off to the La Cueva. They, sometimes the ball falls your way. So, like you said a couple weeks ago, like sometimes you need a couple of good bounces, and they also had their running back number 29 for La Cueva go down with a pretty serious injury, and that kind of just amped them up. Um, I don't think it was the reason they won that game, but I hope that young man's okay. And I was, all of us were saying prayers and wishing him the best when he got carted off the field. But I don't think that was the reason they won that game. They just kind of the ball fell their way. So um, yeah, you saw some of it too. So it was just kind of I feel for those kids, and I just wish they pulled off that win. But it is what it is.
Let me ask you something, Jonah. There is a very big difference between playing to win and playing not to lose.
Yeah,
And it felt to me like Centennial was playing not to lose. And it
yeah,
felt like they were trying to just figure out a way to get the heck out of that game and advance to the next week, right? And to be completely fair, it felt like Cruces did the same thing and there was a completely different outcome. Uh, do you think being at that game, did you feel like Coach Ocampo was making decisions with not to lose or almost this like let's just figure it out as opposed to let's go in there and dominate? Do you think there was a difference there? What do you think the mentality was? Just from the play
no,
calling and
definitely.
what you saw. Not, obviously we didn't talk to there's no comments coming from Centennial as we know from other sources. But um were they playing to win or were they playing not to lose?
Based off those calls, they were playing not to lose, like you said, and I think that Centennial doesn't have that dog in them, and it comes from the coaching staff. And again, I'm not trying to put down anyone, but LaQuaver right off the bat, it was kind of ironic. NMAA was the LCPS staff was doing their announcements over the PA system. NMA supports sportsmanship. We want blah blah blah, good stuff. And right off the bat, LaQueva breaks their huddle pregame routine with F Centennial, very loud and clear. Everyone can hear it in the stadium. There wasn't that many people there,
On either
and
side?
uh, yeah, it wasn't as uh packed as I hoped for a Saturday afternoon game. To be honest, I would say maybe a little over 500 on each side,
Okay.
maybe. But yeah, you gotta have that dog. Right off the bat, I kinda knew LaQueva had an edge when they went off and said those words. And, yes, we want sportsmanship. We want young men to be, uh, great young men off the field, and when they grow up, to be with a good head on their shoulders, and I promote that. But you gotta have a little dog in you, man. You don't let the people treat you like that, and it rubbed me the wrong way, and I would have been a little upset if I was one of the players or coaches for Centennial. But sometimes you got to be like that. And growing up with Cruces, when I went there for football, with my brother going playing for football, and all of my family, they always had that dog in them like that. We would end practices with some choice words for the opponent we were playing that week. I don't know if we ever said it during a game or anything like that, just so we wouldn't get anyone in trouble. But hey, the Cueva went for it. They did it. And so right then I told one of my other best friends, I was like, I don't know about this. Like La Cueva has some dogs in them. Um, so I just wish they would kind of obtain, or I don't know what the right word is, that attitude, and just kind of be like, let's win, bro. Let's dominate. Because they were up 21-7. I would have, I'm not a coach, but I would have put my foot on the gas pedal. Let's air this out. We're beating them in the middle of the field. Their DBs aren't as good as we thought, to be honest. Our receivers are doing some pretty good route running, and they should have kept their foot on the gas pedal and extended that lead to 35-14 or something like that. But instead, we saw a little more conservative play calling, and it cost them. And that's kind of been a routine thing for Centennial in the past, where they play these northern teams and either predictable play calls, or they don't keep their foot on the gas pedal, and it cost them. And I'm not saying they're wasting talent with these young kids, but are they? Like, these kids, they put in a lot of work, and I know I've coached some of them. I know some of them, and they didn't deserve to go out like that with those type of calls, I guess.
Yeah, it's hard, and we've talked about the culture of Las Cruces High School and the history that comes with it, where you're not playing just for yourself. You are playing with almost this history of state champions. Your dad might have won a state championship. Your uncle, your cousins, your brother. For you, Jonah. I mean, Julian won. He's a state champion for Cruces High. There's
It
this
was my
culture
sister.
of this is what we do. This is what Cruces High does. This is what's expected to do. And for Centennial, it's more of like, hey, we fit in as well, right? And so it that mentality, obviously those kids has just been around for those 4 years, and it is what it is. But those, for a lot of coaches, it means a lot, and it means a lot for the family members that are there at the game. And so I think there's some demons or some these past stories that you hear where there is an expectation, and it's Centennial and the coaching staff, and for the years to come, there is a expectation of, look, Las Cruces is a title town, and this is what we're expected to do. So, but to go back to what you mentioned about some of the choice words when you're breaking out of a huddle and you're saying specific things, I mean, from the first week of June, when you're just in shorts and you're just in shirts, and all you're doing is running, you're doing all the exercise, and they're essentially trying to weed you out. They're
Yeah,
trying to separate the boys from the men. When you're breaking that huddle, it's stayed on me, stayed on three. That's what it is in Cruces. I remember that as well, where
yeah,
that's the expectation. And as the big games go along and they start coming around, I won't say who would make clippings, who would put news clippings on every single locker room. He probably faked them. They're probably not even real news clippings, but it'd be like, Cruces sucks. They're gonna get ran over by whoever they're playing that week, and it was on your locker, and he was just trying to piss you off. And it's like, I don't like this. And there was this emotion to it where all these little things that coaches do to prepare you for that. I remember that as a bulldog. I remember that in the football locker room where it was like, yo, this is legit. We're not playing around here. And so shout out to that coach. If you're watching this, if you know, you know. Jonah, you might not even remember this because I know this specific coach wasn't there when you were around. Maybe your freshman year, but he went to Oñate. You didn't hear it from me, but look it up. If you know me, what year he left, he would put up, I almost guarantee you, he'd put up fake news clippings of some other city talking crap about Cruces, and it was time to go. And like it was super cool to see and to be
Yeah.
around that. So it just it's
Does his
exciting.
name start with an H? Are we thinking about the same guy?
No.
Okay.
But yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, he's still around, so I don't want to put any that he's doing fake news or whatever the heck, but it got him out. It got us going. It got the team going, and it was cool when he made us do mats and like ridiculous workouts and things like that. Where people would be like, "Dang, this is crazy," but state champs. Period.
Yeah, bro.
That's it.
Yeah.
You make men. And Coach Ocampo, I've never been in a practice with him. I've never even spoken to him, so don't want to disrespect him and what he does. And maybe he does something similar, or he has a different philosophy on how you engage your players. But uh, it just seemed like Centennial was just playing to not lose,
Yeah.
and that's exactly what happened. Personally, there was like 20 minutes where I didn't watch the game, and that's when it went from 7-7 to 21-7. And then I never saw Centennial really have command of the game. And they just slowly gave up the lead to the point where they lost 24-21.
Yeah.
So a field goal at any point after halftime would have at least tied the game for you.
Yeah. No, yeah. I also want to give the flowers to Coach Labarine, their defensive coordinator, who's also the quarterback's dad. Like he came out, and I thought maybe the defense would be the kind of lackluster or the weakness of the team of the game, and they weren't. They didn't. They gave up two touchdowns. Uh, the other touchdown was a scoop and score, but they held their own. Their DBs, we thought they would be kind of, challenged, but they held their own. Gavin Woods, number 17, I think Via was one of them, and number 30, all did their best. Like they were, La had some tall, lengthy receivers who were pretty good route runners, and they had great hands. And but they held their own, and I think they should be proud of that. And I think Coach Zabarine did really well calling a defensive game. Their lineman was getting to the quarterback. LaQuava's quarterback, uh, like I said before, wasn't as athletic as the past two quarterbacks they've had, and he was flustered. There was a couple of series where there was like six or so straight incomplete passes. He just couldn't get comfortable. He couldn't set his feet. That's because the linemen were getting to him. If he did have a couple throws, number 95 for Centenni was pulling like I think his name is Jalen Carter from the Eagles, like just knocking the ball down. And like I was like, wow, you never see that in high school football, and he was reading it pretty well. But to kind of go off of that subject and get back to the state champs thing, I really like that you said that because it was almost scary but exciting when you're in stations in the summer of Cruces football, hearing state champs when you're freaking puking your guts out after tires and gears with Coach Miller and Coach Jay there. Um, and but that state champs made you push through it. Like you wanted to get that ring, you wanted to get your name recognized. And people don't remember district champions. We never really cared about district championships uh,
For what?
at all. At all, yeah, they didn't do anything for us. And then when I went to other schools and stuff and started reporting on like other schools outside of Las Cruces, I heard, yeah, we're district champs and stuff, and I was like, okay, but that doesn't get you remembered. And then not that you play the sport, yes, you want to get remembered for that, but you know, you put in all that work, you want to be rewarded with the state championship. You play sports to win these state championships. Yes, you do so to make yourself more disciplined or get you ready for other stuff in life. But at the same time, we want to keep that dog in us, and that's why Cruces is Cruces.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say that now. And even when I went to my other school, I tried kind of bringing that DNA to I'll just say Centennial. And I remember, kind of getting shit on by players and other people for saying, state champs, but why? Because I wanted to bring that, hey, we're just as good as them. We're starters. We're going to make our own path. Um, but I was, shut down that way. And I didn't want to say anything about that, but it brought me like I should say it. And I wish Centennial would kind of just instill that, like, and there's nothing wrong with it. Yes, it's okay to make great men, but it's also okay to want to win. Like
Yeah.
let's put our legacy out there and make sure we remember for this and that. But do each its own. I'm done with that.
Yeah, you're done. But you know what? Just that is perfect right there. Where we're talking about this culture and how to recreate that. And I'll tell you what. Next subject, Gadsden.
Yay.
Let's talk about a school that is changing the tradition, who is changing the mindset, who is doing those things where they're responding. You can do all you want to do on practice. You can do all you want to do during the regular season, but the reality is that once November comes, you got to respond. And a huge shout out to Gadsden because they keep rolling. They're a team that a lot of people aren't noticing, but they keep rolling and they keep going, and they just beat Los Lunas, and they're moving forward
Los Alamos.
to the semifinals of the state championship. So shout out to them. There is a culture change happening there, and that is a perfect example of how you do make that, how you change that narrative. So Jonah, I know you watched that a little bit more closely, so tell me a little bit more about that.
Let me scoot away from my mic real quick and say, "Let's go, baby! Let's
Let's
go,
go.
freaking Gatson,
Let's
man!
go.
I'm
What do you
so
bleed?
freaking
Tell
proud
me
of
what you
them.
bleed.
I bleed crimson and gold, guys. I almost cussed right there, but I'm not gonna. I'm so happy for Coach Fascio and their staff and their kids that they're rewriting Gatson's, image. So like I told you guys from last week, I said Los Alamos hasn't beat anyone. They haven't played Gatson's like level of opponents, and Gatson went out there and rolled over them. I think it was like 21-7 halftime, something like that, or they just put it on them, and they knew. And now Coach Fascio and his staff, I think, are gonna make the next step. I'm not gonna say they're gonna win or anything like that, but they're gonna compete with Roswell because they belong with them. That I'm gonna keep saying that they belong, they belong, they belong. And so I hope that they pack the Sal, which is Gatson Stadium, and I think they will. I think they should put some bleachers in the end zones. They should extend their seating somehow because make it loud. Like Roswell needs to know that Gatson's they're coming up.
Let's go. We're there.
Yes,
Let's
sir.
go, Gas. Panthers? The Panthers? Shoot, some Friday night light feels right there. Let's go, Panthers.
Hell yeah.
Let's go, baby.
I
We
had to
get
drink some
let's get
energy
a
drink,
couple
dude. My
state
throat hurt
champions.
from yelling right there.
You're texting me. You're like, bro, Gaston's winning. They're updating me the score. I'm just like, dang, they're going. That's so cool. I'm so happy for them. And I love to respect cultures. I love to respect coaches. At the end of the day, I always say kids when we're talking about high school because they're forming men. A lot of these guys won't play past the high school level, right? Uh, but there's something about that the fraternity that you're gonna have forever to win that. And so the way we're talking about Cruces, that fraternity where I mean, I didn't play my whole high school career of football. I didn't, and
Neither did
there
I.
was circumstances that happened in my life. But even when I go out and I see guys that did play and that I played with growing up, there's a great fraternity there, and I'm excited for those guys that are coming up through the Gadsden organization and the school and the program that Coach Fascio has. That you're creating a culture that is so much different than what was in the past, and you're gonna remember that forever. So, as you mentioned it, will they win state? We don't know. I hope so, but the fact that they're moving on and they're I mean, they're impressing me. Every time I'm like, "Okay, cool. Yeah, it's Gadsden." I still remember them. That's not who they are, but at some point it's gonna come back, and it just hasn't, and that is so dope to see. So, congratulations to them. Who do they play next?
They play Roswell.
That's right, Roswell. Yeah. So in Gadsden. So I'd like to go to the Cruces game. They're not playing at home.
Yeah.
That is some bull.
Baloney.
Yeah, there you go. That it's that. You're the number 1 seed, and it's not even state. We wanna talk about, oh, state championship, moving it back and forth. It's the semifinals, and Cruces has to travel. BS. But the fact that Gadsden, so I'd like to go to the Cruces game. That is a little bit further away, but if I don't make it there, I'm definitely gonna try. I do want to go to the Gadsden. So it's either or. Cruces first, but if not, I'm gonna go watch the Panthers win. So yeah, I'm excited for that. So shout out to them. Anything else there for Gadsden?
No, I think they have a really good chance of winning if their identity is running the ball from what I can see on paper and from the little clips I've seen here and there and the few games I've watched from them. Um, and like any commentator on the NFL or college football would say, time of possession, if their offense doesn't have the ball as much as you're probably in a good recipe to win that game.
Yeah.
If they just run the ball and chew up some clock and punch it in when they need to, let their defense get a good break and make some plays. All you need is one defensive drive where you don't let them score, and then you kind of take advantage off of that. I think they could do it. I've seen a lot of clips of Roswell's skilled people, and they're some athletes. Always Roswell and Artesia, they have those kids like you said, that's in the culture. They know they want to win from the summer workouts, from the last game of the season, the next day when they start doing weight programs and all that. So, but like I think Gatson can run the ball and chew up some clock and throw it here and there when they have to. They have the receivers like I think Anthony Palomatis is one of them who can make a play here and there. But they also have some big defensive guys. Some you wouldn't expect out of Anthony, New Mexico, to kind of be honest. But they're athletic dudes and they can get to the ball quick. So it's a good chance. If they have the game within 14 come the fourth quarter. I think they have a good chance. So we'll see. I know these fans, this community, they're gonna show out, and they don't get this very often, but they just show up for whoever is on the field. So it's gonna be loud, it's gonna be electric, and I'm just freaking pumped for that town and for the school for those kids and specifically too for Coach Fazio because he's a good guy and he's a hell of a coach.
Well, if you go to Centennial and you like football, get on over to Anthony and
Sorry about that. I had
watch
to
some
do that
ball. Watch some ball, baby. Watch a culture change in front of your eyes. Let's say that, and
for
let's
real.
move on because we got some topics. We're like stay with us here.
Yeah, stay with
Next,
us, bro. It's just getting interesting right now. Come
it
on now.
is. It's the perfect time. It's fall. We got a bunch of stuff going on, and we don't talk too much about Mesilla Valley Christian. The Obviously we've talked about them in 8-man football, a little bit different, but they lost this weekend as well, and they lost in the quarterfinals. Unfortunately, um, tough loss, tough loss for them. Uh, I didn't watch it. I'm sorry. I I'll look back on it a little bit more. Obviously, I was on vacation, so it was hard to follow everything. There was a lot going on,
Oh, there's a lot
but
this weekend. Yeah.
they Mesilla Valley they are a team that does expect winning. They are really good typically, and not to say they're not this year, but they fell short in the quarterfinals. So, um, yeah, congratulations to them on the season they had, and rooting for them as they move forward. Not sure how many seniors are graduating this year, but hoping the best for them.
Yeah, Mesilla Valley, baby. Either in the state championship in basketball or football, but they're there. So
Cool. Now we're gonna move over to our last team here in the playoffs, at least in the dirty South Valley, wherever the echo goes, right, baby? And it's
ooh, I
Mayfield.
like that.
Some big news here that we just heard today on the 16th. We saw a post. You messaged me first, and then I was like, "Wait, is that are you where are you hearing that from? Is that official? So we can officially say right now that Coach Bradley, the great Bradley bloodline, is at stake at least, right? I don't know if there's a possibility of another Bradley coming in, but it's what 30 plus years where we're talking about some tradition. Mayfield has been struggling this generation since Centennial's kind of come around, and there's been some moving around on the districting and what students go to what school. And so Mayfield has been hurting, but this is a school with a lot of tradition, a lot of state championships. And now Coach Gary Bradley has announced that he's going to be stepping down as the head coach. So we'll see what the future looks like there. But this is some big news to me. It was important to really highlight that Mayfield is going to be going through some changes here, where we were talking about they got some size on the team. They not a lot of seniors on the team, and we were having some high hopes that they made it to the playoffs, and they were eliminated pretty early in the playoffs. But I think there was the following years after that, next year and beyond, that they were going to keep being able to make it to the playoffs. And now it's going to be with some other coach. So,
Yep.
any ideas on who's going to take that over, Jonah? Anybody call you yet for that job? What's going on?
First of all, don't ever question me on my sources. I am the Jonah Gallegos of New Mexico,
Okay.
and I will find out stuff here and there. So yeah,
Until
first
somebody
off
tells
that
you there's no comment, right? And then you can't. But yeah.
until I get shut down, which happens occasionally. Um, but I don't want to take away from the perfect scenario that Gasson is in right now with Facio, but Facio should have his name in there. Um, he coached as an assistant coach a while back at Mayfield and Oregon Mountain. I think is one of his starting points. But that would be a really solid person to look at. I don't know if he'll leave because he loves and bleeds for Anthony and Gatson and all that. But if Mayfield, an historic program, comes calling you, what do you do? Yeah, you got to take a call at least. And of course,
Yeah.
these coaches don't do it for the pay or anything like that. But um, like I said, there's just some history behind that, and you want to hear them out a little bit and see what you can build over there as well. So I know he has some connections with all the schools around here in LCPS. So that's one person on my radar that I'm looking for, and if I hear something, I'll give a little shout. Um, so
Heard it here first, fellas. You're not going to get this inside information anywhere else. Uh, I didn't think about that, that there would be some poaching of coaches from teams that are having and are finding success.
yeah,
And I mean, there's no one else that would. I mean, I don't want to say no one else, but I think Coach Fasio would be a great example of somebody if you're looking for a culture change, if you're looking for someone who's not afraid to change that, raise your hand. Let's go. What you got?
I have a huge name that I have no sources of this, but I have someone that would be a great prospect, and it just came to my mind. Can I say it?
Do it.
Coach Michael Hogin, who is your class and has a lot of history with the coaching experience around here, and he went to Arizona
Yeah.
to coach for some pretty big time school there. I don't know the name of the school, but I would love to see his name in there to take over. Imagine that, like you got a Cruces alumni. He knows the history of that of all the schools around here, and he could be the one that steps up. And I'll say, hey, make sure you watch this episode because I'm putting you on blast, and I think he deserves a shot at that at least. I hope maybe I can encourage him to kind of put his name in there, but wow, I think that would
He's
be a solid hire.
And you know what? I don't think we even need to tell him to watch the show. I think he does. He
Yeah,
likes and responds and messages me sometimes. And I've been liking his stuff. They're still in the playoffs. I was
yeah,
looking at his story just today, but he's at Higley High School in Arizona, and you just blew my mind, dude. I think that'd be
that's
really
crazy.
cool.
Yeah,
That'd be really cool to see him come home, or at least to see him kind of change from, even if it's not Mayfield, let's say Gadsden's job opens up.
opens up. Woo-wee.
I don't know, because then that would be sweet too, where you get a guy who's already changing a culture somewhere, moving to Mayfield, and then there's going to be an opening there. So there's going to be some musical chairs happening. Oh, buddy. Yeah, I just looked at him up real time just to make sure I knew the school that he's at.
Yeah,
That would be really cool.
he's a
Amen.
solid person, solid coach. Anyone would be lucky to have that type of dog at their
Yep.
program.
And there's already proven that even that class of 2023, I mean, even Jacob Benegas, who played at the next level, he's doing some great things with his development and what he's doing for athletes in all schools and cruises and like the surrounding areas where Coach Miller, he made some dogs. He made some dogs in that era that the class that I was in, and give or take two years on either side of that, where that'd be really cool. And I think that Michael would lean on Jacob Benegas to help him develop his players. And there'd be some connections there where, you see some of Coach Miller's uh, players start to do coaching and implement what he taught, and the dog that he brought to us and to all the athletes and cruises. Dude,
Oh
just
yeah.
blew my mind.
Hell
I'm so
yeah.
thankful you said that.
Hell yeah. And he had a he like I said, he loves Las Cruces. I know it hurt him to move away, and he had a shot at. Uh, I'm just gonna say it because it's out there now, but at the Oregon Mountain job before Sanchez got that job, and I really wish he had that job. But things happen at the right time for the right people, so we'll see. And Coach Bradley had such the Bradleys had such an impact on Las Cruces, Mayfield, anywhere. Like we knew about Bradley from the get go, from when we went to Cruces, and we didn't even go to Mayfield. And so, like you said before this show, we got to give the Bradleys their flowers. Um, they're the goats, all of them, and Coach Gary Bradley. Yeah, tip of the hat. Thank you for all those years at Mayfield. He said he started there. He went to Farmington. He went to Carlsbad, and then he made his way back to Mayfield. So, what a journey! Like you said, he doesn't measure his success on wins or losses, but just the awesome people he met throughout his coaching journey, and that's what it's about. So, uh, let's go.
Shout out to him. And then moving on here, let's hit Chaparral a little bit further out, but you've been talking about them a lot, and that was an exciting game. They won in overtime against Moriarty, and I mean they keep rolling as well. There's a lot of teams in the Dirty South that just keep winning, keep advancing. So shout out to them, and Chaparral is able to pull it off in some dramatic. There were some dramatics there, but they were able to pull it off.
Yeah, OT win. I saw someone put a clip of it on X, and those kids were hyped, man. Uh, a 1 point win. I think it's their first ever trip to the semifinals. This is the furthest they've gone in the history of their program, and like I said, Coach Frias, I believe his name is, deserves his flowers too. Like he's changing the culture, and it's all about that. Like we can win down here. It's time to stop letting these other people from other areas tell us that we're not as good as we used to be. We've been good, baby. We're still here.
We're right here. Let's go. Let's get it. What
Yes,
class you
sir.
want? Where do you want to go? Because the road always
Woohoo!
comes through Las Cruces. It's got to come through I-10. It's got to come. You. Let's go, baby. Let's go.
Three crosses, baby.
Yes, sir. And speaking of champions, it's not just football. You better believe it. It's not just football. Hey,
Can we get a three clap for three rings, three trophies? Ooh,
shout out Coach
that's
Loophole, legend, legend. He was out there. I was just so happy to see him. Just I mean, you could say, he had a great team. He had a great players. He's got a generational player in what's her name, Addison Massey. Whatever you want to say, I think he's going to continue to coach. I think he has every right to do that. I don't think until he wants to retire, until he wants to be done. That's what he wants to do. Is like, but good things come in threes, baby. And three in a row without losing. Shout out to them. They were able to win it. And I mean, did you expect anything less, anything more? I mean, there is just an expectation. They just had to go out
just
there and finish it.
just to top it off too. I mean, they beat a North School La Cueva right when their football team is about to face, and I had all the La Cueva kids, pulling up receipts and stuff for me, and then I hit him with the Dirty South baby, state champs again. So let's
Yeah,
go. I
call,
mean,
call us when you win state. Beat Centennial. That's fine. I'll see you next week.
yep, let's
But
go.
today,
You said it right there, man. Clip
but
that.
today, right now, yeah, you won. Congratulations. But your volleyball team, where they at? Let's go. So congrats to
Hell
congrats to
yeah,
volleyball. Congrats to Cruces winning three in a row. Let's make it four. Now
make it
it's like
four,
there's an
baby.
expectation of like, okay, what's gonna happen? Let's make it four. Why not?
Hashtag dynasty, baby.
Hashtag dynasty. So congrats to them. We'll move forward because volleyball is hard to talk about. Uh, at least from my knowledge right now. So not gonna do injustice. Happy for them. Congratulations. Let's go to some NMSU basketball here, because again, talking about culture, talking about NIL, talking about how things are just more difficult now. Now we're moving to nationwide. A lot of things are happening. We tried to go to the Mountain West. We wanted to, but who rejected us? Who was that? Who was that, Jonah?
You and him rejected us.
They rejected us. We needed votes from everyone, and they're like,
Ugh.
"Nah, NMSU's not it." But guess what? You see a little asterisk at the bottom there. You see that right there on Saturday?
Second straight win, baby.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. UNM comes on over to the Pan Am. They try to figure it out, and they just can't. I was worried about basketball, and we were able to pull off a win. And it wasn't even a pull off. It was a healthy win there, and
Yeah,
the Aggies advanced to 3-0. Were you able to check out that game at all?
I watched the second half of it. I have a son, and so it's hard to keep him entertained sometimes. So I was here and there. But I know Jamel Jones, I believe his name is the guy we got. Our score had 15. He had a quiet first half, but when I turned the TV on, he was knocking down threes and just getting to the bucket. So I know another guy, Elliott, had about 11 points. So it wasn't just Jones, which is good to see this early on that we have other guys who can step up when Jones isn't doing what he does best. But UNM going through coaching change and all that, they're still UNM. Like they're a great team. And so the win, and plus we had a generic court, bro. I don't know if you heard about that. Our
No.
court, our original court, I guess the AD found like there was some little. It was just not good. Right, it was not in good shape. So they switched it out. We had like a very Mershite. I don't know if you guys know Mershite style court with some stickers planted on it. It and we still beat them, baby. We beat them on that generic ASS court.
What?
Yeah, I was
What's
like,
up? Wait, the athletic director's out there just checking the court. What
oh,
happened? How did that?
I'm sure he had some little sources here and there that kind of like, yo, this is not what we want. But yeah, I saw right from the get go. I was like, that's not the court we have. We have some crimson in there. We have, or whatever we call it, what color we are. But shout out to the Las Cruces Sun News Nick for noticing it too, and he got down to the AD to ask the questions he needed to. So those are the type of stuff we need. We need to
Shout
know
out
that.
Nick. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
that's the investigative journalism that we expect and we want, and it's great. He's one of our sources. We brought in Trey last week, and maybe we have Nick sometime where he talks a little bit
oh
more
that'd
about
be
what he's
cool.
doing because he's way more boots on the ground than we are. He's doing some good work. So shout out to him. And I did not know that. I'm glad that you brought that up. And maybe that's a reason why, because, or let me clarify. Maybe that's a reason why we had a home court advantage was because it was not a court that you typically play, that a D1 team doesn't typically play on, where we had a little bit more of some practice on the court where the ball just bounces differently, or the feel is different where,
Yeah,
but at the same time we have two returning players. It's not like they've, I guess they practice all summer, but at the same time, hey, roll out the ball and let's let the boys play, and the better team won. What are you going to
and
say?
shout out to Las Cruces. They showed up. I mean, that announced attendance was like 8,000 ish over that, but even Nick said it in one of his tweets. Like it felt like 10,000, and it looked like it was a larger turnout than that. But I'm so glad the students showed out. They were loud. They were crazy. Even Adam Young on the call was saying it felt like March, and it was just really cool to see. And I think one, it's a UNM game, so they're going to show up, But two, it's just we noticed that the team that Coach Yoon is putting out on the floor is different this year, and we're starting to get that. I'm not even going to say the J word, Christian's uh, feeling back, but we're starting to get that winning culture back. So good stuff to come.
Yeah, I'm genuinely happy for Coach Hooten. I know how much he cares. I know how much he tries. And if you've ever been to a game, you see those veins popping out of his neck. He
Oh
doesn't
yeah,
sit. He's always yelling. He's bringing the energy, and he's demanding his players to match it, right? Don't matter who's on the court. It doesn't matter who's leaving, who's not, who he's bringing in. He's always bringing that. So I'm genuinely happy for him. I have mutual friends that are friend, that see him off the court, see how much his competitive nature and what he wants to do. So I'm so happy that he's finding success. Huge start to the season, but at the same time, and like you mentioned the J word, that
hmm
the expectation at New Mexico State isn't just to beat UNM, it's to continuously beat UNM. It's continuously to win your conference, and it's to play in March. That's the expectation, and he knows that. And so this is a great start to him. And when you're looking at re-signing and you're looking at continuing your coaching career at New Mexico State, you need to beat UTEP and you need to beat UNM and you need to beat your conference competition. And so far, he's doing that. And so congratulations to him. And I'm so happy to see that for him. So heck yeah, man. Let's keep going. Let's keep winning. And let's keep on rolling here to a big one. This was a huge win here for. Let me say it. Let me pause for a second here. I know we said it a
Oh
couple times, but it's huge and new baby. He dominated. He was Emilio has moved back to Las Cruces, so now he lives here and he's training here and he's fighting out of here. He's repping. So he was in I think Colorado Springs for a few years and he was training out of there. I think he's still using their promotion and they're working with him, but this man is hungry. He is working out of a garage. I mean, we talked about it whenever we had him on the podcast when we were first starting. It was like what our third episode,
yeah,
that he was waking up at 4 in the morning and he is working out. He's putting in his first workout of the day, and then he's doing his full time job. He's trying to figure it out, and then he's going and he's working out again. He's doing the same thing. When he won the fight, he shut it out. He just has a new baby, and he won on his girlfriend's birthday. So and new champion. He goes all the way to Massachusetts and he dominated. I watched the fight. I know you didn't. It took me some time to watch it.
Yeah.
That boy put in some work and he took some shots. He Did you watch any of it?
I saw the clips you put on Instagram and stuff, and I guess like you said, his promoters, and yeah, that dude was big, bro. That dude, the guy he fought, there, I don't know what his size was, but there seemed like quite a bit of a size difference, height and
Emilio Emilio is let me give you some context here. I think he's 5'8" and his
okay,
opponent was 6 foot. So he was
okay,
4
see,
inches taller than him and he had a 4 inch reach advantage on him as well. So he was much smaller. Yeah.
yeah, hell yeah, man, we're short kings, baby. We stick
And
together.
short kings, there you go. There you go. I'm 6 foot. I mean, I'm 6 foot and just I don't know. But I want to point something out. His post fight interview, you could just tell in his eyes there's still so much adrenaline. There was an accidental hit to under the belt. Let's just say under the belt here. Let's keep it PG. And there was a break there. Emilio accidentally uh, put a knee right on his cup. Let's just say that. And so there was a little bit of break. I loved Emilio was like, even the announcers were like, Emilio did not. He was just locked in. He was staring at his opponent. His opponent's on the floor, like just in agony. And Emilio just, it was an accident, clearly an accident. And he did not stop looking at his opponent. He was locked in the whole time. And, his game plan, I talked to him, was let's get him tired. His stamina as a wrestler, I think that as a bulldog helped him when he was growing up. He said since he was 4, he's been in combat sports his whole life, and that boy has stamina and he's got a chin. And it's going to be really hard for anybody to take him down. I'm excited to see where he goes. It was so cool to see it. If you have not seen it, go look it up on YouTube. I think it might be there by the time this is released. He took some shots and it seemed like it was just like boom, he's at it. He's at it. He did
He
not
just
let
ate
his
them.
opponent breathe. It was dope. I'm so happy for him. I'm genuinely excited. I was like screaming and yelling in the Airbnb that I was at. Just he's just a dog, man, and he did it. This means a lot for him. I mean, Dana needs to be paying attention to this man because he deserves a chance in the UFC if that's what he wants. This was an amateur fight, and there was like it was a the the event itself had professional and amateur, but he was the main event for the amateur side. That
Oh
was like
wow.
the end. After that, it was all professionals, and bro, he was lights out. It was awesome. So from Las Cruces all the way in Massachusetts, getting that W was huge. So shout out to him. So happy for him. Love you, brother. We'll have some more content that is circulated specifically around him and what he's doing and what's next because as we said, it's not a schedule. This isn't high school sports where, next week you have somebody else. He mentioned it in his post game again, his post fight interview that it's hard for him to find fights because he's dangerous and guys don't want to
Yeah.
fight him. But now he's a champion. So you put a little bit of target on your back. Guys want to fight you. Guys want your belt. They got to respect him a little bit more. Say his name. That's what he said. Say my name. And
Oh,
I was scared. Brother, he's not at this moment right now. He's not in cruises yet. And I was scared that he was going to get hurt yelling at the crowd even because they were booing him because he was not
oh.
he was in enemy territory. Yeah.
Was the other fighter from Massachusetts?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And apparently, I mean, the champion. So he went in, he was a challenger and he took it and he said, he's like, you know what? I think this challenger, or I'm sorry, I think that the champion took this fight thinking I was smaller and I was unexperienced and I'm not a champion. And he thought this was going to be an easy fight. is what Emilio thought in the heat of the moment. Obviously, there's more things that happened, but after he just beat that guy's ass, he was he was lit up, man. It was cool to see, and it just gives you an insight into anywhere you go. There's dogs. Cruce's
Yep.
Bulldogs raises some bulldogs and some dogs. So that was sick. I don't want to say anymore. I don't need to say anymore. We'll do some more with him. He let him get back home, and we're for sure gonna have him on the podcast, and we're gonna do a little bit more with him. But that boy's a dog, and he's going places for sure. Remember his name. Say his name. It don't matter if you're in Cruces, Massachusetts, Russia. Give me some Dakistan guys. Let's go. Bring them on. I don't know. Dakistan. Everybody gets some credit there. Of oh, these guys are wrestling bears. There's some dogs over here. The Rio Grande. There's some in the water over here. There's some fighters, and Emilio is one of the top dogs there. Where it's exciting. He can put Cruces on the map where there's a lot of fighters in Cruces that are really good that um are coming from the same blood and from the same training and from the same mindset from here. So Cruces is a combat area. The dirty
Yeah.
South, we can get dirty. Give me
Let's
Dakistan.
let's go, baby. Emilio too. From the little stuff moments I've had to talk with him, he's a humble guy. Like for him to say that, like he knows.
Yeah.
He don't speak much. He doesn't toot his own horn very much, from what I've known. And I knew our brothers crossed path back at, of course, Cruces, his older brother. And so I was around him when I was young. We were a couple of years different in age, but you knew from the beginning that he was different. And like you said, he works hard. His stamina is crazy. I see videos of him freaking. It seems like he's always working out, which you got to, I guess, in that sport. And so I'm happy for him. I'm happy he welcomed a new baby boy into his life. Like he's experiencing that dad life. He has so much good going for him. I just wish him the best. And like you said, we're all happy for him. He's the definition of, I guess, Las Cruces. Crucin. I don't even know the right word for that, but yeah, we work hard here, and we're freaking dogs, baby.
2 3 years, Las Cruces, forget. If you know, you know. Do you know what I'm referencing there?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. And
All
again,
right.
let's do this real quick. Let's get real depressing here because
Hey, like we said, sometimes we got to mention them, but they don't. You got to win to get a little bit of our feedback.
you played Tennessee. I
We're
so
shaking there.
happened.
You're right.
There's a reason why I know what the spread was. Uh we were underdogs by 41 points and we beat
Oh
the spread.
shoot.
We
Ooh,
beat the spread.
I did see someone tweet about that actually. That's
Not
all we
loud
needed.
claps, but yeah. So, shout out to Aggie football. Hope you guys tune in next year. We play UTEP. We're playing
Yeah.
UTEP. That one will be exciting. I think Coach Sanchez needs that win to continue to coach. Will he return? Should he return? What do you think, Jonah?
I'm not going to get into it again, but let's end the year with some wins. I'm going to say wins because we think we played Middle Tennessee our last game of
Yep.
the year, and so gettable, achievable wins. Let's end on a high note, and let's move on from this because I don't want to get sad.
Yeah. That's sorry to end it. That is the last little headline we have. It was an exciting week of sports. We had football, we had volleyball, basketball. High school basketball is just around the corner.
It
I know.
starts tomorrow, dude. It starts tomorrow
I
for
know Oregon Mountain has
some of the
been.
northern schools. Sorry.
Yeah, Oregon Mountain has been sending us a bunch of stuff to post. A lot of tryouts. Cruces is doing a lot of things, so we're going to start getting into basketball. That's something we can look forward to. We don't have any. I don't have any information on when games start. Um, Usually, you start with some tournaments,
Yeah.
games that don't really count towards your like whole record, essentially. But yeah, that's exciting. So it was a big week for high school sports and a big week for NMSU basketball too. So excited as we're starting this transition and teams start to get eliminated. That's the reality of it. Is that in high school football players or football teams are going to start getting eliminated. Not Cruces though. That one is going to be a dub. But I think Gadsden will do it too. We'll see what Chaparral does. So exciting there. Anything else to cover before we do final shout outs, final things there, Jonah?
No, I'll beat you to it right here. I just want to say, like, to the remaining seniors for football specifically, we got Cruces, Chaparral, and Gatson. Like, take advantage of these moments. I don't want to sound like and has been and whatnot, but still, like, you work so hard all 4 years to get to these moments and stuff like that. So take advantage of it. Don't let it slip. Don't go next week saying, "Oh, I wish I could have done this." Keep your season alive, man. Like, I'll tell you this, life doesn't get much easier once you graduate and get out into the real world. So enjoy these moments right now. Make sure you work your tail off at practice this week. Take advantage of the moments in the games. Don't take a play off. If you're blocking, block to the whistle, bro. Like, put that man in the ground. Uh, just don't take it for granted of what you have right now. It's a special moment to be playing this deep into November. Um, and to those kids that lost, who seasons are over, uh, you know, reflect on the good times and whatnot, but um, just build off of all those high moments you had in football or whatever sport you're doing, and if you're playing another sport, make sure you don't feel that way again come the next season. So I'm just excited for you guys. I hope, I wish for the best for these next coming games, and I hope you guys are all playing for a championship come in
For
two
sure.
weeks.
For sure. It's exciting. It's exciting times. Heartbreak is around the corner. Whether you win it all or not, this is close to the time where you never put those cleats back on again, you know? So
Yeah.
shout out to them. I want to give a shout out. Like I mentioned, I was on vacation. I was away tuning into all the sports and cruises this weekend. Special shout out, a friend of the show. She watches all the time. Is Anissa? Her birthday is on Tuesday. It was a hot dog themed weekend. Saturday, all of her friends. I was just wearing a hat and some glasses, but it was great to spend a weekend with her. She's always messaging us. She's been watching us since the very beginning. So love her. Love um, the friendship that I have with her and just her support for A Mountain Echo and for all the little things that we do and just like all the funny little jokes that we say. She will send little messages there. So special happy birthday to her. If you know her, send her a message Tuesday. She's going to be uh, um, celebrating a birthday. So happy birthday to her in advance. And I just spent the whole weekend there spending time with her. So that was great. She went to the Broncos game. I didn't go. Broncos won. Congratulations to them on a field goal. So that was cool to be able to see that. I could have cared less who won. I hope that both teams lost, honestly. But they won and they had a great time. It's always cool to go and like travel and go all that way and to see your team win is cool. So happy birthday to her. Love you, Nisa. And expecting many more. And next time when she turns 40, it's gonna be hamburgers. So yeah, happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, Nisa.
Jonah, closes out, man.
Well, don't forget to like and subscribe, my friends, and I'll call you guys family. We appreciate you guys for tuning in. Uh, there's a lot more coming. We're trying to build this thing. So, like we said in the start of the show, just stick with us. We're excited to keep pushing this thing along, and we hope our content brings you some laughs, smiles, maybe even some comments here and there. Like, we want you guys to interact with us. So, and that starts with subscribing and kind of just watching our stuff. It helps us build to other platforms and just and whatnot. So, um, thank you guys. Love you guys.
Later.